I'm 96 years old, and I have spent the last 60 years watching women around me try to be strong and fail. Not because they were weak, because they had been taught the wrong definition of strong. And if you are honest with yourself, you have probably been trying to be strong the same wrong way for 30 or 40 years. You keep going. You don't complain. You take care of everyone. You hold the family together. You smile when you want to scream. You forgive people who never asked. You call this strength. It is not strength. It is exhaustion dressed up in a sweater. I'm going to tell you the 5 keys to becoming a truly strong woman. I learned them between the ages of 50 and 80. I should have learned them at 30. The last one will hurt to hear. I am going to tell you it anyway because it is the one that matters most. And it is the one nobody is going to say to you if I do not. Key number 1. Stop trying to be liked by people who never liked you to begin with. Every woman has a list. The sister-in-law who has been cold for 40 years. The neighbor who never includes her. The cousin who only calls when she needs something. The friend from church who somehow always makes her feel smaller. You know who is on your list. You have been working on that list for decades. You have brought casseroles. You have remembered birthdays. You have sent cards. You have shown up to events that drained you. You have done all of this because you believed, somewhere underneath it, that if you tried hard enough, long enough, kindly enough, they would finally like you. They will not. They never did. They are not going to start now. The strong woman knows this and stops. She does not cut them off with anger. She does not write a letter. She simply, quietly, stops trying. She stops sending the card. She stops bringing the casserole. She stops apologizing for the silences between them. She lets the relationship be what it actually is, which is nothing, and she stops spending her finite remaining energy pretending otherwise. I have a list of 3 women I stopped trying with at 62. 2 of them are dead now. 1 is in a memory care unit. None of them ever liked me. I gave back to myself on the day I stopped an enormous amount of energy I had been wasting for decades on people who were never going to give it back. A strong woman knows that her time is the only currency she has, and she stops spending it on people who will not invest it back. Key number 2, refuse to be the family's emotional landfill. Every family has one. The woman everyone calls when something goes wrong. The woman who absorbs the complaints, the worries, the resentments, the fears. The woman whose phone rings at 10 p.m. because someone needs to vent. The woman who has been listening, holding, soothing, and carrying other people's emotions for so long that she does not remember what her own emotions sound like. That woman is you. I know it is you because you are still watching this video. And the women who are not the emotional landfill stopped watching 3 minutes ago and went outside. The strong woman refuses this role, not dramatically, quietly. The next time her daughter calls to complain about her husband for the 18th time, the strong woman says, "I love you. I cannot be the place you put this anymore. Find a therapist or a friend, but it cannot be me." And she says it without apology, and she means it. You think this is cruel? It is not. It is the only way you do not die exhausted at 74 from carrying emotions that were never yours. I refused this role at 68. My oldest daughter did not speak to me for 4 months. She came back. She had to find another place to put her feelings. The place she found was a therapist, which was the place she should have been going for the previous 12 years anyway. A strong woman is not a container for other people's pain. She is a person with her own pain to manage. Key number 3. Stop apologizing for the standards your mother taught you to lower. Your mother, who was a good woman, taught you 100 things that have quietly kept you small. Do not make a fuss. Do not be too much. Do not ask for more than what is offered. Do not embarrass the family. Do not be the woman who returns the dress. Do not be the woman who sends back the food. Do not be the woman who says she expected better. She taught you these things because her mother taught her these things, and her mother before her. You have been carrying 100 years of lowered standards, and you have been apologizing every time you accidentally raise one. The strong woman raises the standards her mother lowered. She returns the dress without apology. She sends back the food without apology. She tells the contractor the work is not acceptable without apology. She tells her husband the comment was not okay without apology. She tells her doctor the medication is wrong without apology. I want to be precise. I am not telling you to be rude. I am telling you to stop preemptively apologizing for the fact that you, a grown woman, have standards. You earned those standards. Your life paid for them. Stop giving them away in advance because you are afraid of being too much. I learned this at 71. My husband had been gone for 2 years. I returned a couch to a furniture store that had not been delivered correctly. The young salesman tried to explain to me why the couch was fine. I told him without apology that the couch was not fine and I would not be paying for it. He delivered a new couch on Friday. I had spent 71 years apologizing my way into accepting damaged couches. I have not apologized for a standard in 25 years. Key number 4. Learn to be alone without being lonely. They are not the same thing. Most women your age cannot do this. They confuse aloneness with loneliness, and so they fill every quiet hour with television, with phone calls, with errands, with the radio, with anything that will keep the silence from settling. The strong woman learns the difference. Aloneness is a room with you in it. Loneliness is a room where you feel forgotten. The room is the same room. The difference is whether you have learned to be company to yourself. This takes practice. It cannot be learned in a week. It is learned over years, in small moments, sitting alone in your own kitchen at 8 p.m. with a book and a lamp, and noticing that you are not, in fact, dying of loneliness. You are reading. You are alive. You are alone. These 3 things are not enemies. I learned this between 73 and 78, the 5 years after my husband died. I forced myself to spend 3 evenings a week alone, with no television, no phone, no radio. The first month was terrible. The 3rd month was uncomfortable. By the 6th month, I had begun to look forward to those evenings. By the 2nd year, I had become a woman who was not afraid of her own company. A woman who is afraid of her own company will accept any company to avoid being alone. That is how women end up married twice to the wrong men, surrounded by friends who exhaust them, and eventually in nursing homes where the noise of strangers replaces the silence they were never taught to inhabit. Become company to yourself. It is the most underrated skill of late life. Key number 5, and this is the one that will hurt to hear. Stop forgiving people who never asked to be forgiven. I want you to listen to this one very carefully, because every woman I have known has gotten this wrong, and most of them are dead now without having understood it. You have been told your entire life that forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. that holding on to anger is poison, that you must let go for your own peace. You have heard this from preachers, from therapists, from books, from your own daughters. Some of it is true. Most of it is half true. And the half that is wrong has cost women like you decades of false peace. Here is what nobody will say to you. Forgiveness that is not asked for is not forgiveness. It is amnesia with a halo on top. When you forgive the husband who cheated and never apologized, you are not forgiving him. You are giving yourself permission to stop remembering what he did. The remembering was the only thing protecting you from him doing it again, or someone like him doing it next. The day you forgive without an apology is the day you become available again for the same betrayal. When you forgive the sister who excluded you for 40 years, you are not forgiving her. You are erasing your own evidence that she is not safe. The next time she calls, you will pick up. The next time she needs something, you will help. And the next time she excludes you, you will be surprised, even though you should not be. The strong woman knows the difference between forgiveness and amnesia. She forgives fully and freely the people who come to her with genuine remorse. She does not forgive the ones who never asked. She does not stay angry either. She simply remembers. She keeps her file. She does not pretend the file is not there. This is the hardest one. I know. You have been told for 50 years that holding any grievance is bad for your soul. I am telling you at 96 that pretending the grievance is gone is worse for your soul. The grievance is information. The grievance is your mother trying to protect you from the back of your own memory. Listen to it. I have unforgiven 3 people in my life, very deliberately, after years of pretending I had forgiven them. 2 of them are dead. 1 is alive and has stopped asking why I do not visit. None of them ever apologized. None of them deserved my forgiveness. I have my peace back. I have my self-respect back. I have the energy back that I was spending pretending to feel something I did not feel. 5 keys. Stop trying with people who never liked you. Refuse to be the emotional landfill. Stop apologizing for raised standards. Learn to be alone without being lonely. And stop forgiving people who never asked. I am 96 years old. I am sitting in my own kitchen. I have done all 5 of these things in the order I just told you, between the ages of 62 and 78. The woman I am today is not the woman I was at 50. The woman I was at 50 was tired, kind, accommodating, forgiving, and very, very small. You are probably that woman right now. You have been told your whole life that this is what a good woman looks like. I am telling you from the other end of life that the good woman and the strong woman are not the same person. The good woman is exhausted by 70 and gone by 82. The strong woman is sitting in her own kitchen at 96 with the sun coming through the window, telling you the truth. Become the strong one. There is still time, but not much. I'll see you in the next one.